somewhat of that level went by and looked on from the other side. And then later the minister came by, the priest came by and looked in from the other side. But what did the Good Samaritan do? He cleaned him up, his wounds, put him on his donkey, gave him something to drink, and told him the hotel and took him to an inn. Said, tomorrow when I come by next day or so, whatever I owe you, we'll pay it. Maybe the deacon had a church meeting. Maybe the priest had something to do. But the Good Samaritan is one that helped a man in need, that helped him in need. He's a half-breed, too. He's a half-breed. The Jews couldn't even go through Samaria after they had gone away and stayed 70 years. But Jesus went there and met the woman at the well, didn't he? Yeah. Contact. So you're going to have to be out front. And that's what we need. Voted mountain numbers. Can't tell you how much I love and respect you, and when I can get back from time to time, I'll be here with you because there's a lot of stuff going on that I have to report to the people. Pray for me. Pray that God will give us strength and faith. Nothing wrong with being a footstomping, backslapping Democrat. They put the jelly so everybody can reach. The Republican put it up high so only a few people can reach it. Okay? Thank you. Be there brief because I've got to get back in the arena tomorrow morning after we get back to Jackson. Thank you, Bob. We hope. We don't know who the cookie going to crumble for, but whoever be mayor, we expect you to work with all of the people. We all got babies too, aren't we? We all look alike. Pair of ears, two eyes, one mouth, arms, and walk upright. What makes somebody think they're more than you call God made you black? Check with him on it. Don't bother me. I'm God's baby too. Thank you.
As I said earlier, all the candidates have made a commitment to come, and I see. Matter of fact, I see the other two in orders already. Mr. Nathaniel, raise your hand. He's a candidate. He's coming. Made a commitment. Ms. Brandon Brown, she's coming. Okay. But we're gonna kick off tonight with Mr. Kendrick Cox. Mr. Cox, you know, Mr. Cox ran 4 years ago and made a campaign. I think he came with about Mr. Cox, 60 votes? 97. Came within 97 votes, so that's very close now. And you probably know 97 votes in your neighborhood. Huh? I know we got 97 folks over there in Curtis Moe and David Jordan, Aaron Weed. They're right there at that library. And you can't hardly get 200 votes out of there. And they live right across the street. They can come over there with their house coat on, house shooting. So anyway, I know Mr. Collins, anybody to do something, he said he did, but I just want to say that this is second bite at the apple, and we don't know who the fountain gonna bless. But after reading this card and look at this card and reading this card, I think he's old to speak for himself. Don't y'all? Yes. So at this time, happy to welcome Mr. Cox, the candidate for the Mayor of Greenwood. Let's give him a hand.
First, I would like to say thank you all for coming. First, good afternoon. I'd like to thank you all for coming.
Excuse me. We're recording. Please, the microphone. We're recording. Take a look. Yeah, take a look. Take a look. Wait up front. Just,
the mic. I'm going to try to stand behind.
No, hold it. You can hold it and walk.
I'm talking with my hands. Oh, you're wrong.
Okay.
Talk with one and hold with the other.
I just put it up here. I speak loud enough so you can get it.
Now, if you want to do it, this is your guy.
That work for you?
Good. Thank you so much.
I don't like to be stationary. I like to mingle me. I think, like I said, I like to thank you all for coming. I refuse to waste your time with fake dreams, unattainable goals, and even try to change your mind or woo you with my accolades and accomplishments. What I want to do is have an uncomfortable conversation with you all. And to understand with uncomfortable conversations, I bring the best out of you. You bring the best out of me. See, as Greenwood is a very resilient place. I've seen the beauty of Greenwood, whether it was through the flood, whether it was through the tornadoes, the storms, even with the pandemic. We found a way to overcome. And when we overcome things, that resiliency shows its face. So we are resilient. We are survivors. But the thing about being resilient, it takes a toll on you. It messes with you mentally, physically, and socially. And see, when you become in survival mode for so long, you begin to be content and complacent. And see, when that happens, you begin to let abnormal things become normal. And so the thing is, I'm gonna talk about the things that what have became our norm. According to the Greenwood Commonwealth, we have 19 gun-related homicides each year. We have a violent crime rate of 35.9 compared to the national average, which is 22.7. We have a property crime rate of 80.9. That's more than double the national average. We have 37 out of 50 employed officers. They do a tremendous job. However, they're placed in a situation where they're undermanned, under-resourced, but we expect the world from them. So we're putting them at a disadvantage. Greenwood, Florida Consolidated School District has a graduation rate of 82.6, not very far off of the national, which is 89.2, but we have a dropout rate of 15% compared to 5% nationally. The Mississippi County ranked per capita, the Florida is ranked 74 out of 82. So this is our norm. We got to look at our norms, but we got to identify how ways we can change it. See, the first thing is public safety, because wherever you go, I want you to make you feel safe. Whether you're going to the Walmart, whether you're going to the next subdivision, whatever the case may be. There's kids now that can't go into the next neighborhood because they're afraid of their lives. They don't step outside of their surroundings due to fear of not leaving home. We have to change that. So these factors, I'm gonna tell you where these factors pose a direct threat to. See, recruitment and retaining of businesses is affected. Population retention. People leaving Greenwood, as Mr. Sims said earlier, people leaving here every day. Financial stability of the hospital, the property value, people are losing thousands and thousands of dollars in their property value due to the crime and blackness in the community. The success of the school district is failing due to the things that are going on. You have kids that sitting in the classroom now that are going through PTSD, trauma, because they have lost so many friends, family members, and they're not getting the proper support they need. So when they're actually be sitting in the classroom and take a standardized test, you can't. There's adults that can't deal with PTSD, and we're asking our kids to do the same thing. So those are the things that are directly being threatened. So how do we change it? So the first thing we got to do is public safety. We got to focus on public safety. That's the first and foremost. By doing that, we got to seek out federal and state funding and support wherever we need to make sure that we curb the things that's going on in our community right now. No one should have to go home tonight and go to bed to the sounds of gunshots. No one. No kid should be scared to walk to and from school. No kid. See, Greenwood was my entire playground. There was no place in Greenwood I couldn't go. I played on McLaren after getting a haircut from Mr. Potts. I played on Broad Street on Sundays. I ran through Baptist Town and GP. We got kids now that can't do the same thing. But we have to control it. We have to suppress it. We gotta establish a standard. We gotta show wrongdoers that is not tolerated. And when we create a standard, and we must adhere to it, we must support it. Not only we expect the police to do it, but as a community, we have to come together. We have to come together. We gotta understand. We gotta find out the man or woman who's behind the badge. As of right now, I can't tell you 10 police officers. To be honest, I can't even tell you 5. I have a problem with it. I have a problem with it. I can't say we're protecting and serving if I don't know. So we gotta fix that. Establish a partnership with the county law enforcement. Because the problem that's going on in our community right now is not a Greenwood thing or the Fort County thing. It's our problem. We gotta come together and work to make the situation be suppressed. We gotta minimize the problem soon because it happens all the time. Somebody from the county come and do a crime, shoot back to the county. Somebody in the city go do a crime in the county, and then shoot back to the city. And then it's just a cluster of things that are going on, and then we're put in a situation where we overlook it. We have another death. Then we get on social media, pray for my city. I come from a grandmother who says prayer without work is dead. So what it seems like we're just praying day in, day out. Can't do that. Got to put the work in. We got to come together. Next one, we got to look into having a relationship and collaboration with privately owned security officers, security teams, to try to minimize crime in high crime areas. We have areas that create a crime culture. We must find a way to hold the people accountable. If we go to a business and things pop off or a crime happens, we hold the business accountable. However, there's pockets in our community right now that's creating a crime culture, and yet nothing is being said. And yet we have grandmothers and grandfathers that are living in the house in fear, and yet nothing is being done. So when we say we got to protect and serve, we have to do it in our standards. We got to hold the people who are supposed to be accountable and create a standard that wrongdoing will not be tolerated. Yes. Strong economy. Over the past 2 to 3 years, our budget has been in the negative. However, 1 year we had 87,000, which I think was the last one. However, majority of our funds are to pay salaries. As I stated earlier, we're vastly undermanned with the police department. We're undermanned fire department. We're undermanned public works. Mm-hmm. So when you look at it, did we really have a plus? Do we really have a plus? So the thing is, we gotta invest in businesses and show them that we're here to support them. We also gotta encourage local business, small business that are being led by women and minorities. Because small business holds a very key niche with a city, because it creates recycled revenue. If you spend $5 with a small business, $4.50 probably stays within the city. But you spend $5 with a franchise, maybe 50 cents stays. So we want to try to generate or recycle all the money that goes on. All right, we also got to connect with different organizations to teach financial literacy, as well as workforce development. More than 60% of high school graduates are lifelong members of the area they live in. We have to find a way to transition them from the high school classroom into the workforce. not from not being a base level employee, but a high quality employee. When you talk to a business, that's the first thing they're asking. Do they have the skills to do the job that I need? So there's has to be a relationship that is formulated with the students to make sure that all the students are educated who are planning on to be lifelong members or not willing to go to college. Make sure they have the opportunity to receive the resources to be educated and be ready for the workforce. Next is the youth and community development. Revitalize the community. We have hundreds of black houses throughout our community. Many of them are deteriorating our communities. And we know when people see blight, they begin to trash and things of that nature and really even bad in our community. More than 60% of Southeast Greenwoods are renters and not homeowners. We have to find a way to transition to have more homes. Because when a person feels like they're truly invested into the community, they begin to take ownership and they begin to have pride into their neighborhood. Create a fully functioning park and recreation department to give our kids the opportunity to do things, not just sports related, but also others like band, oratory, choir, dance, whatever the case may be, whatever it is to keep them positive, motivated, and active. Also, collaborating with organizations to provide resources to help the vulnerable population become self-sufficient. Establishing warming stations, developing homeless shelters. We recently had a building that was in the fire. And a couple days later, they found the remains of a person. We dropped the ball. We dropped the ball on so many levels. We dropped the ball on so many levels. You can't do that. That has to be addressed. Thriving culture. Greenwood is filled with so much talent and activities that are capable to be shown to the world. However, we sleep on our own ambition and goals. Sometimes we need to put that flag in there because we need to push tourism. So I say create a signature event that showcase Greenwood's talents to attract tourism and ensure that events are resonate both residents and visitors. The more visitors we have, the more money that's being spent in the community. The more money spent in the community, the less likely that we have to increase taxes. The less likely we have to increase taxes, the more money is in your pocket. And I'm pretty sure each person wants to keep at least $3 or $4 in their pocket if they can have the opportunity to do so. So we have to find ways to use our talents to be beneficial to others. So as I finish, I talked about 4 different situations: public safety, strong income, youth and community development, and thriving cultures. Those are key factors that support the community. When you establish the community and show the support of the people, and show them that you're truly invested in them, the people, the excellence of the person will build a community. And when the community is built, the city will grow. Like I said again, I don't want to come up here and tell you, I want to say, fake dreams or untangled goals. I want to just make sure that we address our issues, real issues that often are left or not being paid to for years and years. When we don't look at those issues, they put us in a situation right now. So like I always tell people, I'm not a politician. I'm just a person who loves the city. And I'm willing to step up and address the issues that right now, I'm finished. This is my closing. Anyone have any questions, I feel free to ask. I'll take any question.
All right, let's give a hand.
Yeah. I want to go, thank you. Why are you saying you're not a politician?
When I say I'm not a politician,
Why do you say you're not a
I'm
politician?
I'm a student. I'm a member of Britain.
I understand that.
When I say I'm not a politician, I mean my dream is
Be what?
my dream is to help bring. That's my soul goal. I'm not. Like I said, I'm not my. When you ask a person who are they a politician, many politicians are telling you things that sometimes they don't come to fruition. When I say I'm trying to heart for them,
Well, Jesus selected politicians, Matthew was a politician, whatever he is.
I want you to take offense to what I said.
I'm not taking offense. I'm asking you a question. You're the candidate. And I guess you vote questions, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with a politician if you serve the people who send you there. But you brought up a good point. But you're going to have to be in the arena to do that. One thing I want to ask is this. Do you think a PTA, a PTO can help establish a better relationship with students in the public school system?
The relationship with kids are like kids are.
Well, all of us have talked, we know that. But and we had those organizations then. Do you think restoring a PTA and or PTO, whichever one, to establish a relationship between students and the parents
Like okay.
and the school?
For the ones who don't know what a PTO is, PTO is a parent-teacher organization. PTA is a parent-teacher association. So, PTA and PTO are available now.
Do they function?
They're functioning. The ones who are the misled are the ones who are the most surprised. They're trying to find ways to make themselves accessible.
Well, we passed a bill that's not really a lot of houses that passed to the government would give $34,000 to attend the council, and the school system could add more money to it to give them a decent serve around $45,000 to $50,000. Most of our students, in many cases, are in Walmart during school hours, and attend the council. See that at one time we had to. We'll see that that's not done, but the state is putting up about 34,000, and the city, the school district could add enough to make that around 45,000 there.
So,
So do you think that is helpful?
me, honestly, I think resources are going the wrong place. You have kids now who are 13, 14 years old who are coming from the most impoverished areas.
All of us came from popular areas, and that's
This is
serious. What you're saying, we all.
Hear me out. All right, so so times are different. Times are totally different. The problems that you had are not the problems that I had. And the problems that kids have now are not the same problems that I had. See, when I was coming up, $5 could have taken everything. $5 can't do anything. You have a young man who's coming from less than favorable situations and have to go to school. He probably haven't received a meal. He probably haven't seen any good, clean running water. He probably haven't heard "I love you" in forever. And so he's going to an environment where he can be criticized or ridiculed due to his lesbian. And so many of our kids are gathering with other kids in that nature. And sometimes they're led into wrong situations. So my thing is resources. I always tell people, if you want to help a kid, change the way you look at living. Most of our kids have a misguided direction. And we're so quick to say it starts at home. But what if home ain't? See, I grew up with a village. Miss Breaker around the corner whooped me when I did something wrong. Miss Jagged around the corner whooped me when I did something wrong. I tried to sneak out of the house. Mr. Pop was across the street. Want to tell you that. See, we lost that mentality, and it's right now we're asking kids to be grown at an early age. And see, when kids are placed in a situation where they're having to be grown at an early age, they begin to make mistakes.
We just said the same thing, but we just got more of it now.
That's sir.
We all on the same way.
Okay, we're going to go ahead. We're going to come back to today. Okay? We're going to come back to you. Wait, who else got a question?
It's not a question. Because Mr. Jordan talking about the PTO and the PTA. Okay. It's up to the parents to go in there and start a PTA. They can do it. All you have to do is go to the source, which is the principal, and it's up to the parent to form a PTA. I have not heard people have a PTA since my son left school. And that's Michael Jordan. He graduated in 2011. It's up to us to form PTA. It's not up to the school. They will allow you to do it if you want to do it. But when you have a PTA, you want parents to come. You don't want to have a PTA and have 5 parents and you got 700 students. So where are the other parents? So that's 2 forms of PTA.
I have to give credit to the school district. They do have a PTA.
I'm not saying that they don't. But I'm just saying.
Recently, many of I even had the opportunity to speak to one last year, not this year, but I know last year. It's there, but the thing is, we have to meet the ones who are
you have to meet this
we have to meet the ones who are really very in need. Many of the kids who are in need, they're not going to come to the
PTA. Let's get the parents there. That's where the PTA forms the parents. And the parents work with their children and the school district and the staff.
From a person who worked 13 years in the classroom. When you have PTOs, the parents that do come are the kids who don't even
need to be there. That's what I'm saying.
And the ones who don't come, they're afraid to come
because they need to be there.
They may need to be there, but they're put in a place where they feel like they're less than.
I don't feel like they're paying much.
It's a different soul for different folks. Different soul for different folks.
I know, but our children are our children, and we are supposed to support our children and do what is right toward our children. That's what makes better children. Now, when they get grown and do what they want to do, they're on their own. But from a toddler until you 18 or out the house, I'm supposed to be the one calls the shot, not you. You know what I'm saying? When you come in my house, you're going to come in my house at a certain time. You're not going to come in there when you want to. You're going to come when Annie tell you to. You know what I'm saying? So if you can't, I just feel like if you're grown enough, go on out there. But we have to have rules in our house. And we as parents, we have to call the shots for our children.
All right. Thank you. Go ahead. We're kind of moving along now. Wait, take your voice right now. We'll come back to you later. All right.
But how would you collaborate with our state representatives like Senator David Jordan or Representative Osborne, who should be consistently having conversations with their constituents about what's happening legislatively in the legislature right now? But sometimes that does not happen. But there's like for instance, there is a current bill that just passed the House that will address blight, which is what you just discussed, talking about blight. And it was headed to the Senate today earlier or whatever when I read it. But how would you leverage those kind of relationships to benefit the city of Greenwood?
Right, I'm glad you asked. Especially with the situation with the blight. Like I said, we have hundreds of houses that's in black, especially with a rural area like Greenwood, that majority of its money comes from property tax and car tax, taxes and pretty much. So having a conversation, having a good working relationship with Senator Jordan and Representative Osborne, as well as Congressman Thomas, allowed them to identify some of the problems that we do have and how it's been challenges. Because when we have to tear down a house, a home or a black piece of property, that bill stays on the city. The city has to pay for it, and sometimes we don't have the means or the funds that's needed to do that. So it's very vital that we have a relationship with them.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? We're trying to move it around so everybody gets in that question. That walk one. If not, we'll go back around to the person who already asked the question. Anybody else? They haven't had an opportunity to ask you a question. All right, Dave, we'll come back to you. Let's go.
That's only thing I want to say is those of us who are older and taught generations ago, the relationship between the school and the parents is very significant, very important.
Yes.
And that's what the problem is. And the problem is the lack of communication. Bob Sam was a principal once, and I taught 34 years. All of us have been through it. But keep in mind, when a child is born, only thing he or she can do is to cry for something to eat or breastfeeding. And they grow into an environment. And if there's a problem with students, there ought to be some kind of relationship between the ones who produce those students and said school.
That's right.
It's got to be there. It's got to be established. I wrote a bill called Character Education. We had it here one time, but they abolished it. Now everybody locked down. What is the drift? I'm trying to say what causes the drift away from basic principles. And the relationship comes that the students love for you to know their teacher.
They do.
That builds a relationship. But don't tell me that a child that does not anybody talk to him, and the mama, it takes two to tangle. As a man been somewhere, a man somewhere. It takes two to tangle. We all know that. But somebody's missing. But even at that case, there ought to be a relationship between the school and the parents. It works. For example, high school. At one time, we had shop, we had brick mason, carpentry, all of that. And girls knew how to sew buttons on shirts. At home economics. The basic thing. All of that is gone. They put it to the junior colleges. And it dried up like the Sahara Desert. Now you got young people who don't know how to do these basic stuff. At one time, you can make your living being a plumber, or being a carpenter, being a bricklayer. These are trades that we lost. So all I'm saying, somebody said, well, contact us. It's 52 members in the Senate, the chamber where I serve. 18 of them are Democrats. So we can't get a bill passed unless we get some help. And if you try to get help with some of this, the party that is in line now saying you're spending too much money and want to cut basic programs. Certainly you got a working relationship with David Jordan and Solomon Osborne. Always have. And from there I expect to work with you. But I've been there and done that, and older, I know what's work. And as a candidate for mayor, you got to have something to work. I ain't trying to embarrass you, I'm trying to work with you. Because I love you and respect you. And then what you're saying is true. But you got to work with people And don't think we are attacking you when we ask you questions about certain things. That's the name of the game. And don't ever tell anybody you're not a politician. You're in politics.
I'm not a politician. I just love my city.
You just love what?
I just love my city.
So do all of us love our city.
So, Senator Jordan,
Yes.
with all due respect,
We got issues.
just hear me out.
Carry on.
All right,
So
we all know, many of us know how it's supposed to be. We know it's supposed to be a parent, it's supposed to be a mom, dad, it's supposed to teach them the right way.
Right.
But there's situations where it doesn't happen.
Yes.
So we have to address the situation that there is. So that's where you have a village. That's where you have people come in, organizations, things of that nature, to alleviate or to pick up where somebody might have fallen short. See, when I grew up, I lived in a household with my grandmother, and we had next to nothing, but I didn't know it. See, when grandmother didn't have sugar, Miss Bertha had it.
That's right.
When grandma had to get milk, Miss Johnson had it. See, if I'm a father and I'm short somewhere, I'm sure Mr. Clee is going to help me. I'm sure Mr. Murphy is going to help me. And so that's where it comes from. So, it's easy to blame mom. It's easy to blame dad. Life ain't life when you're Miss Senator.
That's true.
Life ain't the same.
That's true.
Life has changed tremendously.
is the drift better or worse?
Worse. Come on, worse.
But we have to address what's now. Right? So my thing is we have to address what's now, and we just can't say we're going to stop it. Or we can't just sit and say how it was years ago.
Yeah.
We just have to address what's now.
All thing I'm saying, Mr. Cox, we both on the same wavelength. What you're talking about, some of us have already done it because it was tough then. You try walking from Rising Sun 5:30 in the morning to Greenwood Public School System like I did, and you go to your superintendent, or go to the superintendent and ask him, say they didn't have buses for nigger children. All of that we went through, and we learned from that. But it was worse then than it is now. The only thing I'm basing is the experiences that I had and how you can make it. And that's all this is, not an attack on you. That we got a mountain of problems. But we do have the right to vote now.
Exactly, Mr. Jordan, and we don't
Let me
do
finish. Let me finish with you. We do have the right to vote now, and we can vote in mountain numbers to get some things changed. But when it's a process you go through. It's like we're going to embrace whoever becomes the mayor. But we got issues, and they're worse now.
They are.
Than it probably was in my generation.
It is.
But we communicated, yes. We used to try to fight, and people would say, you little stinky rat, give a hand on you, then I'll tear you up. I'm going to tell your dad, I know who your dad is. You slept over in a bed at that time, they come in there, two at the head, and two at the foot, and what are you boys doing showing out up there? Tear you behind up with a rope, line. So we've been through that, but it's, but I'm just letting you know that the arena you're in is tough. So we all admit that. But how do we work together to make it better? That's all I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Gotta come together.
I promise you I'm coming back to you. Let's go.
Not to devalue Senator Jordan's
Go ahead.
experiences or anything like that, but I do think that that's sometimes that's discouraging for people who come here to listen about the current problems. We understand what the past has done and how it informs the present, right? But my next question is for Ken. It's more so around, you talked about workforce development and what that looks like. You talked about, particularly with the high schools, is there anything beyond working with high school students? Because we have a lot of non-traditional students that are in institutions like Mississippi Valley State, like, 40 plus or whatever, also people in our community that also benefit from workforce development. And also, when you think about some of our federal and our state bills that are currently in legislation, question. A lot of them are hinging on like having a work requirement, such as Medicaid, if it will ever be expanded here in the state. So what does that look like for people beyond high school?
So there's organizations and nonprofit organizations, same as Plug, Central Mississippi Incorporated. They work through different grants, community-based grants, CSBG, community service block grant that provides funds for a person to go back to get any trade that they're willing to grab. If I'm a kid who I feel like I want to be a truck driver or a car controller, or y'all lady want to be a phlebotomist or a CNA and that nature, or someone who want to do a career change, been working at, let's say, a restaurant for 20, 30 years and say, hey, I want to go get a trade. There are services out there to assist them to make sure they get it if they need the proper qualifications, which is based off the Mississippi property guidelines and things of that nature. So the thing is, there's resources out there. However, many of our people in our community don't know about it and how to get to it. And my thing is, like, we have to provide them every opportunity to be successful. And so if that means going to talk to Senator Jordan, hey, we need this in Greenwood, or go to Representative Osborne and say, hey, we need this in Greenwood, I'm more than capable of doing so. I don't mind asking for our people. And that's the standpoint. I hope I answered your question.
Okay. Ms. Hall?
Public safety is the priority to you. You mentioned that earlier. In this campaign or the last campaign, have you had the opportunity to talk to any of the police officers and find out what they want, what they would need to make them a better department? You also talked about their 13 down.
So I've had the opportunity to talk to several policemen, some who are no longer with the current police department. And one thing is, like, one, they have been vastly undermanned and they're asked to do countless hours. And sometimes that wears on the body. One of my things is I want to implement a recruiting tool that's very aggressive. Try to find a way to accommodate them in some shape, form, fashion to get the most high quality policing that's necessary, as well as get the necessary resources they have need. I also made a statement saying that we need to reach out to state and federal for not only resources, but also funding. The funding may give them an opportunity to get the necessary resources. I know we brag about 100 cameras in the city. However, we still have the problem that we have that I just listed out. So it means that they're not working to the liking that we want. So my thing is, if we have to reach out to somebody and tell, hey, we need you to come in to rectify the problem, to get to maintain the order, we need to do that. That's not saying that the gentleman over here is not doing his job. That means we're just giving him the proper help that he needs, have a conversation with him, have him sit down and then identify what they need, and then see what we can make happen. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody want to ask a question? I haven't had an opportunity to ask. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Come on. Speak just a little loud.
I was asking about the housing building that got burned up down there on Johnson Street.
Okay.
Do you know that building been built like 10 to 15, 20 years ago? It's supposed to have been tearing that building down. And but they had teared it down on that building down. Then we in line with the same. There's a lot of buildings here when you were houses. You stay in them. And you just burn up. And it's just so many. Yeah, that word, and they just need to go around doing it. They tear the houses down. They start some on some of them, like over that's kind of last year. They start up, but they don't ever come back. Some of it is it's a more back over there. Some houses they just not sure 30-something years old. Some houses they just been out.
So the situation is, it's a lot of red tape that they have to go through to go on to private property to tear down. They have to reach out to the homeowner, some on the airship, on this airship. They may have 10, 20 citizens who are heir to their property. And if they don't do that, when it becomes a health hazard, after a certain amount of time, the city can go to the property and do what's necessary. However, the city is liable for the expense and being request for payment from the owner at a later date. However, if they don't get in contact with that owner, the city has to put that bill. And I think that's one of the biggest problems. So that's why many mayors are reaching out to officials like Senator Jordan to identify ways to address those situations. Trust me, I used to play in front of that apartment years ago. And there's plenty more. I always tell people that we do have a homeless problem. We do have a vulnerable population problem in Greenwood. Many of them have been overlooked for so long, and then we're not doing what we need to do to make sure that we get good care. So there's some vulnerable population that are staying at homes now that's overlooked. Each year we have multiple buildings that burn down. This year wasn't the first year. It happened last year. It happened the year before. The thing is, we have to address this situation. Find a way to get a warming station. Me personally, I would like to see the senior citizen building, the youth center, and things of that nature open up for warming stations at times, to give an opportunity to have a place to warm until we have the funds to make it warming station.
Okay, very good. We do have a homeless problem in town. I see it every day. Every day, people walking around, sleeping on the sidewalk, have nowhere to go, under the bridge. So we need to address that problem.
At one time, the council did have space for
Back to this politician thing. Let me tell you this: when you born into this world, who signed your birth certificate? No politician signed it. When you die, who signed your death certificate? Politician signed your death certificate. Okay? So, that's what it is. Okay. Been a good session. And we have some gentlemen here from Mississippi Valley State, Mount University. Ladies and gentlemen, please start you guys some Valley. Stand up. I'm just glad to have y'all here. All right. We want y'all to come back now because we got two other mayoral candidates that's coming, okay? All right. I need one person. Anybody want to speak for the group? Anybody want to do a spoken for the group? Come on, say something. I can't get all y'all speak.
As everybody knows today, my name is Henry Espins. I'm from Clarksville, Mississippi. And I just want to come up here and thank you all for having us. And we're here representing Mississippi Valley State, and we're so thankful that we get an opportunity to sit in today. Thank you.
Your name is what again now? Espins, what your name is?
Henry Espins.
Gotcha. Okay, I thought you said that.
That's a big name, man. Henry Espins, all of this. All right, thank y'all for coming, and you are welcome to come back anytime. All right, don't let this be your last week. Anybody else? You got a question? Okay, all right. Going once. Going, and yes, ma'am, wait.
I'm a bit late. I'm sorry for being late.
Go ahead.
Class, but he did address the issue of blighted in the black community.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
He did.
Okay, great.
All right, Mr. Wilson, stand up and let's go see. You're gonna be in the hot seat next week now. All right. Mr. Wilson. Stand up, Mr. Wilson. Let's see. Don't be shy now. All right. He's running for City Council Ward 5. I asked Mr. Powell to come. Who had a question? Did I see somebody in?
No, we were here to see Mr. Jordan, and we're a few moments late. Not sure if we were here. This is Hazel, Money Moves the Nation.
Well, yes, I will. Oh, you and your wife was born with the
Yes, sir.
Sure, I'll take some time.
Sure.
Okay, we're gonna
We're here.
we gonna close it out, and we're gonna let y'all have the floor, right? All the young folk, we going on. Well, anyway, I want to introduce my wife and her sister from Alabama. Raise your hand. She want to see how we do things in the county. So she get a first-hand view of how we politics in this kind of small town. So we thank y'all for coming, and once you come back next week, Mr. Wilson, I invited your opponent, Mr. Powell. He said that he's kind of busy, won't be able to make it. Okay, but if you got any influence or know anybody knowing real well, he put a bug in the Don't be fresh, shy and afraid. Come talk to the people. You want to vote for you? Come talk to them, right? Okay. But anyway, we're going to go on regardless. Okay. All right, Dave, you want to close it out for us? Come on.
Okay, may we stand? Repeat after me. May the good Lord watch between me and thee, while we absent one from another. Good evening.